Good morning, good morning. Hope you're having a great morning. And welcome to class. Today is Wednesday. It's Wednesday. And let me introduce myself. My name is Alex Cooper. If you haven't been in one of my classes before, welcome. I'm the computer teacher for the Columbia County Library in Evans, Georgia, the Harlem Library, and also the Uchi Creek, now Grovetown Library, because they built a new building and everything. So welcome, glad you're here. And today's class is going to be Google Suite 101. Okay, so we do Office and Word and everything, and now everybody's kind of checking out the new Google Suite. And of course, some folks are getting Chromebooks and everything. They want to know a little bit more about it. So this is kind of a 2-hour kind of overview of using it and everything, and backing up, and also Google Drive a little bit as well. So very glad that you're here with me this morning. Now, as everybody kind of comes into the class and stuff, kind of just post a message in there like welcome and everything, and maybe introduce yourself some. One big benefit of coming to our classes when they're live, of course, is that you can ask questions, okay? So please post any questions that you have into the chat. And the big question I always ask students is, how can I help, okay? What questions do you have? What problems have you come across? How can I help? Okay. Now, we do have many classes coming up this month. I'll disappear for a moment. Previous classes are still available to watch, and please share with friends or family members. We can all try to learn something new. We actually have some new classes this month as well, some Halloween themed stuff. Kind of for all ages, but kind of focus on the younger set a little bit, doing some Halloween programming, Halloween coding, Halloween animation stuff, and also working with the Unity a little bit. So this month coming up, of course, yesterday we did our Raspberry Pi computer projects live with Alex, that's me, and we made a doorbell. It was really neat with our Raspberry Pi. Today, this morning, we're doing our Google Suite 101, and then this afternoon we're going to be doing Email 101, Personal and Business Basics. Now, the thing going on is on Thursday, which is the 8th, we're going to be doing Google School at 11 o'clock, okay? And then the afternoon we're going to be doing Let's Build a Website with WordPress, okay? I'm excited to say they recently updated WordPress, so we'll kind of jump into that and cover that a little bit, okay? So want a free website? WordPress is really one of the easiest ways to kind of jump in there. There's some other services too, but you realize we're trying to focus on free and stuff. So if you want to start a blog or anything, this used to be the blogger class, but you can do a blog with WordPress, but also a lot of folks want to know just how to build a website in general, okay? There'll be no class on the coming Tuesday, but on the 14th, we'll be doing Scratch Basics. Let's make a Halloween card and dance party on the 14th. And then the afternoon, we're going to do Let's Talk About Libby, our new digital library. So that's what's going on with the library. It's also going to be talking about other library resources that are available. But also we'll be talking about Libby, which is our new service. Instead of RB Digital, everything is moving over to Libby for ebooks and audiobooks too. And we'll also be talking about Acorn TV, lots of other resources, classes, all kinds of stuff. So definitely come join me for that. And let's see. And then on the 15th in the morning, we're going to be doing App Swap, okay, which is kind of a new thing that we have going on, okay. App Swap, come in, stop by. I'll be talking about all kinds of different apps that I use basically on a daily basis that I would recommend to others, and you can also bring up apps that you use as well. We'll be talking about iPhone, of course, and Android devices as well, okay? And I'll come up with like different categories and stuff. But if there's a favorite app that you use, we'll talk about it, okay? And then we'll talk about introduction to Google Cardboard VR. We'll be talking, it's kind of our addition to our Google School class. So on the 8th, we'll talk about it a little bit, and then we'll delve into it a little bit more on the 15th, okay? So we'll talk about watching VR videos, VR games that are free as well, and also some educational resources too. And then near the end of the month, we're going to be doing a whole bunch of different stuff. We're going to be doing Halloween Python coding. We're going to create a scary spot the difference prank where instead of somebody about to click on it and all of a sudden a ghoul jumps up and goes "Arr!" at them, and we're going to code that in Python. It'll be a lot of fun, and it's very visual with graphics, okay? And on the other part about it, of course, is the Scratch Basics. Let's make a spooky card and dance party. And then another project we're going to be doing is Raspberry Pi project, how to make a sound trap. Ooh, kind of like our whoopee cushion class. We'll do a little bit brief introduction, kind of someone that's newer to Raspberry Pi. We'll cover all that, our GPIO pins, and then we'll get to make our soundtrack, make different spooky noises. Okay, so that's kind of our plan. The other part is we're going to be doing Scratch Basics. Let's make a spooky game, and also we're also doing a gadget help on Zoom with me, Alex. We're going to make that 101, and that's on the 21st and the 29th. You can call into the library. They'll give you more information, and also how you can schedule that within the 2-hour window period. Okay? All right, so let's go ahead and give you some other resources too. Our libraries are open with limited services and hours, and curbside holds pickup is available. You can go to gchrl.org for details, or call the library with questions Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Don't forget to like us on Facebook and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Right now we're having a subscribe to our YouTube channel drive, I guess you could say. If we get 100 folks to subscribe to our YouTube channel, then we get our own personalized address, okay? Or, until that happens, the easiest way to find our channel is to search YouTube for GCHRL videos, and our channel will pop right up. And this is the channel that you're on right now. So let me flip back here. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's get started. Hey, I'm back. Okay, so I'm actually going to post the handout. Give me a second to get the link. It's kind of fun class. We're going to cover a lot of things. Okay, so that has been posted into the chat there. You can view it and then download it. And a lot of the time with our classes, when we're doing something on ground, it basically is, okay, quit. Trying to make this as big as possible. Now, one of the, excuse me. So one of the things we do when we do an on-ground class is we'll have students come in and everybody has their own computer and everything, okay? And no programs are going on at the library, no classes, no study rooms, or no other programs are going on, because right now we're still, staying home and staying safe and everything. And what happens is usually everybody would get their own computer, and then I'd print a handout, and then we would cover everything, and of course I would go pretty much like this on the big screen. So I say click here, or do this, or let's click here, anything, and then just make sure everybody's kind of following along. So what I recommend is basically having me, if you're replaying this video, having me on a smaller device, like a cell phone or something, and then I'll actually be flipping back and forth because I'm going to follow our handout so that we're all on the same page. And mostly that's so later you can go, I took that class with Alex, I have the handout. Oh, that's right, let me jump back to the handout because he was just following along with the handout. That's absolutely right. Okay. So let's go ahead and let's talk about what we're going to cover. And I'm going to go ahead and disappear because I don't want to block anything on the screen. So like I said, we're going to flip back and forth. So we'll cover what's in our handout, and then we'll flip to our actual live demonstration too, if you want to follow along with me. Okay, let's talk about what we're going to cover. What is Google Drive and Google Docs? Okay, we're going to talk about Google Docs editors, introduction, Microsoft Office files, dealing with those. Yes, we can import Office files, and we can save to Office files too. Okay. We'll talk about Google Drive, Google Docs, and we'll create a simple document. And kind of the goal after this, we're not really going into in-depth too much because, we only have a 2-hour class here. Not in-depth too much, but we'll do a brief overview, kind of what most people want to know how to do with the different programs, so that at least gets you started. Okay. And what else was I going to say? Yeah, it'd help you get started. It's not in-depth. If you're interested in Word, PowerPoint, and Excel, those are all separate classes we have. And also in our library resources class, we'll send you in the direction of a continuing education program that you can do like an 8-hour class in Word if that's what you're interested in. And you get a certificate for those online classes, and completely free, okay? Because it's through the library. So we'll talk about a simple budget. We'll talk about we'll talk about Google Sheets, which is their version of Excel. We'll create a simple budget. We'll talk about Google Slides, which is their PowerPoint. We'll create a simple presentation. We're going to share some files with Teams. We'll talk about why there's a big benefit of using the cloud service to share files with others. And then we'll talk about some of the other services that they have. Other services and. That's kind of funny. Okay. And there you go. Other services and. That was completely on purpose. Okay. So first, let's start off with what is Google Drive, okay, and Google Docs. Our address is drive.google.com. Now, first, let me let you know you do have to have signed up for a free Google account. Once you have a free Google account, if you have an Android phone, you already have a Google account. If you have a Gmail email, you already have a Google account. And then you get 15 gigs of space for free. Okay. We won't talk about it today, but if you upload your pictures to the Google Cloud, that's actually can be set to unlimited, so that will not take up any of your Google Drive space. You just set the pictures quality to high quality, and there you go. It won't take up any of your drive space, and then they all kind of live together in the cloud. Yay! So we're going to talk about uploading files. Excuse me. You can sync files from your computer to My Drive, Google.com Drive Download. Okay. So I'm going to point that out in just a minute. We'll also talk about our free 15 gigs of space, and then we'll talk about the different apps we have. So let's go ahead and let's get started. So, give me 1 second. All right, so I've typed in, and now we're headed to Google Drive. So now that we've gone to drive.google.com and signed in and everything, it's showing us our Google Drive. Okay. Now, I will tell you this, the one I'm showing is basically an account for the library, so it does actually show a little bit more than 15 gigs of space because it's a business account. Okay. But everything else will be the same. So basically you have your files that you can have here. My Drive will show all the files that you have on there. I just have stuff for classes on this account. Okay. There's all your files here. You can click up here at any time to search for those files. You also can have shared folders as well. Okay. And at any time, if I click new, which we'll do this in a minute, I click new, this is where I can upload a file. So I'm going to click upload file. And one of the things it'll show, we'll show you. So if I just jump into, let's say, the camera class. So got all these different files, and I also have PowerPoint presentations, okay? And there's Word documents on here as well. So if I hit open, it'll upload the file, and you can see that it allows me to upload doc files that were created with Word, PPT files that were created with PowerPoint, and I don't have any in here, but the what is Excel? Excel is XCL, I believe, something like that. Excel documents and allow me to upload those as well, and it'll import them just kind of naturally right into Google Drive. Okay, now once I upload those, you can see that they're here. I can click them and it'll open them. Or if I want to upload a whole folder, I can upload a whole folder at one time. That makes things a lot easier, especially if you've got a bunch of projects that you're going to work on. And this is another way that we can get to Google Docs, Google Sheets, and Google Slides. Okay, so that's really the main three that we're interested in. Okay, there's some other apps on here too, see, but those are the three that we're going to be talking about. And to start a new document, all we do is click there, which we're going to do in just a minute. This will also talk about our trash can, and this is our cloud service. Now, I showed you where it said the Google Drive. Well, hang on, I wanted to show you. Let's see. Where is my, that's not what I wanted, hold on. Let's see. No, I wanted to know more about the backup. Okay, that's it. Here we go. Took me a second to get there. So basically there's a program that you can download, you can put on your computer, okay, instead of having to upload things by hand like I was just showing you, okay. You don't always have to do it that way. You can actually get it to synchronize the files. Now, I will tell you this, one negative thing about this is that someone may view this as, oh, this means that I can use this program, it'll upload the files to the cloud, and then if I delete stuff on my hard drive to save space, it'll be up in the cloud. That's not really the way this works. There's actually a recommended, you basically start a separate folder every time that you actually want it to synchronize that. If you don't want it to keep the files on your computer anymore, create a new folder and then tell it to synchronize that folder where it doesn't have old files there. Okay, so just realize that the synchronization, what it's supposed to do is trying to make a double copy in two places, which is great in case you're going to maybe lose something. Okay, so again, if something is important enough, try not to have it in two places. If something is important enough, try to have it in two places. Almost said the opposite. Just in case if something happens to one, you'll have it in the other. Okay, and this is a program that helps you do that. They have a Mac version. They also have a Windows version of it also. And if you want to back up things like pictures and stuff, there's also programs you can download for the iPhone as well. And this website will go more into that about it. You saw how I got here. And it'll choose all kinds of stuff like what folder, what do you want to back up automatically. And you may actually have it backing up photos and videos as well. The big thing is to make sure that you have it set to high quality, as it shows here, and it has an unlimited amount of space you can use for pictures and videos. Okay. All right, so let's go ahead and let's go back. Let's go back to our handout. So we talked about our available apps. I get a big question is, what exactly is a Chromebook? Well, a Chromebook basically is you're using, instead of having Windows, like we have Windows on the laptop I'm using, so that you can, see the start menu, stuff like that, run most programs on the computer, I will say that. Sure, there's Macs and there's also Linux and all kinds of stuff, but most programs there's usually an equivalent on a Windows computer. It really is the main computer. Okay, so operating system for computers. Now, one of the things about a Chromebook is that makes them cheaper is that they don't have Windows on there, so they don't have to pay a licensing fee. You can't run software that's made for Windows on a Chromebook. The only thing you can do is run online stuff or like apps in the Chromebook store. So Chrome is Google's web browser. You can download apps and run stuff in there. Anything that you can run in a Chrome browser, app store, whatever like that, you can actually run on a Chromebook. Okay, so technically, a Chromebook is a fancy laptop that only really runs online apps. It really needs to be connected to online store all the time, and it can run Google Chrome apps from the App Store. Okay, there's other features too, but that's basically it in a nutshell. So if there's apps that aren't in the App Store, or you can surf any website you want to, of course, but the apps aren't in the App Store, then it won't be available on a Chromebook. Okay. Now a lot of people like that because maybe everything is on there that they're interested in, or maybe it's just work or school related. They just want something to be able to check email, surf the internet, maybe go to YouTube or something like that, and then create documents and presentations or PowerPoint, and that's really all they use their computer for. Okay, so let's talk about Word, spreadsheets, presentation, okay, files. So we just talked about saving our files online, and also let me go back one quick. I didn't mention. So if we have our document and we actually create, I want to make sure, because I guess I'll show this a little bit later. Once we create a document using Google Suite, we can actually save it as a doc file and open it in Word if we want to, or vice versa, open it in PowerPoint. So it makes it very universal. Google has worked very hard to make sure that their stuff is very compatible with Office. So to transfer stuff over, to upload files, it makes it very easy. I've personally seen other online suites try to come up with their own format, and then it wasn't compatible with Office, and then it just made it a headache, and it was very different. But this one kind of works with it and is happy to work together. So, all right, so we talked about pulled up our Google Drive a little bit. This is a little bit more of a visual with someone that has maybe more documents than I have in my folder to give a little bit better of an explanation. So keep all your work in one secure place. Now this is actually from one of their websites, so a lot of this is stuff that they're really trying to promote. Okay, keep all your work in one secure place with online file storage. After you store your files to Google Drive, you can share them with others and access them on any computer, smartphone, or tablet. Remember, it's a cloud, so you can do that. When you change or delete files stored in one of these locations, Drive makes the same changes elsewhere, everywhere else, so you don't have to. Okay, because we're dealing with the cloud, we save something, we can pull it up on our phone, we can actually view it on another laptop. We maybe even don't have to carry a laptop with us home or anything like that. You can just go, okay, I'll log into my Google account and open up all my work files, and there they are. Okay. Text documents, spreadsheets, presentations. Other types of files it supports. Google upload files and folders to Google Drive. You can upload, view, share, and edit files with Google Drive. When you upload a file to Google Drive, it will take up space in your drive, even if you upload a folder owned by someone else. Interesting. Uploading and view files. On your computer, you can upload. I did want to make sure everybody understands that you don't have to have Google Chrome to do a lot of this stuff. But if you do use the Google Chrome browser, it does give you a few extra features like, I believe, dictation and some other things. But we're going to talk about all kinds of add-ons here in just a minute. Okay. Upload and view files. On your computer, you can upload from Google drive.google.com to your desktop. You can upload files into your private or shared folder. On your computer, go to drive.google.com, which we did. At the top left, click New, and then File Upload. Choose the file you want and upload it. And this is a little bit more information. About the synchronization. Install the application on your computer. On your computer, you can see a folder called Google Drive. You can change it to whatever folder you want, by the way. Drag files or folders into that folder. They will upload to Drive, and you will see them on drive.google.com. It will convert documents into Google format. If you want to upload files like Microsoft Word documents, you can change the setting to convert files. Okay. How to use Google Drive. You can store your files securely and open or edit them from any device using Google Drive. Get started with Google Drive. You get 15 gigs of free space. Go to drive.google.com. On your computer, switch over to My Drive, and I think we've covered a lot of this already, so I'm going to just skip this. That's just a step-by-step that I have. So let's go ahead and let's dig into Google Docs. Okay, Google Docs is really the main one that folks want to know about. Okay, so that's what we're going to work with first, and of course we're going to create our simple document as well. Write reports, create joint project proposals, keep track of meeting notes, and much more. All changes are saved automatically. Okay, so a big one here, as long as you're connected to the internet, of course, you can save everything that you have automatically, and you're not fumbling around with different types of flash drives or trying to share that with the group. And near the end, we'll talk about sharing our projects or our documents with other folks that have Gmail accounts as well. And it makes it really, really easy to do that. Now at the top, we can actually change our title, and we'll actually see some normal things that we use like in a word processing program. Okay, our undo, redo, changing our font, our text. There are text styles here if you're interested in that, and also changing the font size, bold, and all that, and the font color, and underline, and italics. So let's go ahead. Oh, you can create, edit, share, and print documents for Google Docs. Use templates for work, school, or personal documents. Collaborate in real time on your computer, phone, or laptop or tablet with anyone with a Google account. Step 1, create a document. To create a document on your computer, open the Docs home screen, of course, at docs.google.com. In the top left, under Start a New Document, click New. You can also create a new document from the URL. Okay, interesting. That's just one extra step there. To edit a document on a computer, open a document in Google Docs. To select a word, double click it, or use your cursor to select the text you want to change. Start editing. To undo or redo action is on the top left, like I showed a second ago. Note, to edit a document on a touch screen like Pixelbook, double tap the document to start typing. You can add and edit text, paragraph, spaces in documents. So let's go ahead and we'll kind of get our way around, and then we'll learn our way around, and then we'll actually kind of dive into it. So if I go up here and I hit New, and I go to where it says Google Docs, it'll open up a Google Doc for me. Did you see how our address changed to docs.google.com? You can go there directly if you want to. Okay. Okay, thank you. So let's look and see what we have. This is a brand new blank document, and today is the 7th. Okay, so let's call it class October 7th, 2020. Okay. And once I click away, it's already been saved. And you'll see this where it'll say saving at the top, saving to Drive. Okay. So now I've already saved this to our cloud service. All right, so let's go ahead and let's kind of walk our way around here. We have our main area that's up here. We also have our file, edit, view, insert. So let's go ahead and let's click file. If you want to create a new document, you click new. At any point you can change over to the other services as well. This is the big one that people ask me about, is if I create a document, so let's say that this is for school or something, and you go, great, I'm going to use this, it's going to make it really easy. I can even edit stuff on my tablet or my cell phone, so I can just be on the go and keep adding to this document. But the problem is then I have to submit it as a Word doc, okay? Let's say for a teacher, professor, or even for just a boss, you know. I'm not going to send them the separate thing. I'm just going to send them or give them or you know, even want to print it out as a doc file. So once we create something, if we click file, we click download, we can actually see that we have different options here. Of course, our top one is Microsoft Word. So if you spent all your time creating something here, hit download, saved it to your computer as a doc file, then you can open it in Word and there's no one will even be the wiser, okay? And it'll make it really easy and flexible. And again, if you need to send it back, you can upload it like I showed you a minute ago, and then boom, you're editing it again. So it's really, really flexible. I personally haven't had any formatting issues switching back and forth, okay? I'm sure that you can run into a few formatting issues, meaning that may not have the different programs may not have the same fonts, but it'll probably choose something similar, okay? But you won't lose any of your work in any way, okay? All right, so you can save to other formats as well, and you can even save as a text file. All right, it also has a version history, so you can go back if you want to. And there's also our print preview as well. Now, how does print work? Print actually, it creates a PDF file, and then it opens the PDF file, and then when you print, you're actually printing a PDF file, which allows it to really control the margins and everything. So it's not like you're really printing a website that it allows the web browser to change in any way, because it may not 100% know which web browser you're using. So printing something that way makes it very flexible and very easy, okay? Okay, so we have other settings on here. Like we have edit, there's undo and redo, of course. Our copy paste does work, okay? We can change our view, our mode. We can even go to a full screen mode if you don't like it being in a web page kind of mode, so it looks like we're, you know, surfing our browser and stuff. There's also, and we'll talk about our images in just a second and all our little separate sections there. Here's other formatting. Here's our spelling and grammar. Yes, spelling and grammar is here as well. And it has something called add-ons, and we're going to talk about that in just a second. Now here's our undo and redo button. Of course, we did it up here with the edit as well. And then we have our normal text. We can also choose our fonts and everything. And let's go kind of walk through this. Let's go ahead and let's look at what our simple document is that we want to make, okay? All right, so first thing we want to do is, my example right now is called class. We'll pretend we're going to kind of, maybe we'll add the word to it at the end and say sunflowers, okay? So we're going to try to write a poem here. Our main goal after this example is we will learn how to type, of course. We'll learn how to change our font color, change our font size as well, make something bold if we want to, also type a line of text, and then also insert a picture. Now, it could be a picture that you have on your computer, or it could be a picture that you want to search for. It's going to make it really easy to search for a picture that we can put in our project, okay? All right, so I'm going to go back, and all I'm going to do is I'm going to click up here. Oh, I can't just change it. Yeah, there you go. Up here, we're going to say sunflowers. All right, so it's just called Sunflower Poem. Let's go ahead and type that. Now the easiest thing to do, and this is just like Word, and as we're typing, you'll see that it just continuously does saves, okay? The newer version of Word basically does this, but of course they're trying to connect up with the with the Microsoft OneDrive. Yeah, it's something like that. Microsoft what is it called? Yeah, OneDrive, that's it. The Microsoft OneDrive, so they kind of have their own service. But remember, you do have to purchase Word or have the Office 365 subscription service, okay? And again, we're trying to focus on free stuff because that's what people say they want to know about. Show me that free stuff, and then I'll see if I have to purchase something because I might be happy with what I can get for free. Okay, so we typed something. Let's go ahead and select our text, and then let's talk about changing it. Now, there's different styles if you want to do that. There's also different fonts on here. If you do see, I shouldn't run into that, but all you do is to change it, you just choose one, and it'll automatically change it. Let me zoom in a little bit here. There it is. We'll do fit to screen. There we go. So we have, let's see, Oswald. Let me say lobster. Okay, I think that's what we actually have in our example. So that's where our font is. And now let's look at our font size. Let's make it about 18 or something. You don't get a preview, kind of like in Word, but you can click it. And if you don't like it, go back and just hit the undo button if you have to. All right, so let's make it bold, okay? And we could italicize it. We could underline it if we wanted to. But let's change the text color. We don't want to do yellow because yellow can be hard to read. Remember to think about your audience when creating something, okay? Let's see, about a dark blue. Here's our example. Oh, it's a green. Okay, I think I will do green actually. Is it thinking? Hold on. There we go. Working with stuff online, sometimes you'll click and you go, well, why is it doing that? It can be a little bit of delay because remember you are working with an online program, okay? Won't have it really where speed or whatever, it's just kind of connecting. All right, so we have our sunflower poem, and our poem says, the sun and her flower and I actually want it to go to back to our normal text, yeah. The sun and her flower is as sweet as the flower in the sun, the sunflower. Dot, dot, dot. Whoop. The sun and her flower is as sweet as the flower in the sun. The sunflower. There you go. So there's our little poem there. All right, so let's go ahead and let's talk about inserting our picture. So if we go up here and let's click Insert, one of the things we'll see is charts, tables, drawings, and all that. And we're just doing a brief overview of this. Of course, we're going to cover the other two. So let's go to Image, and I do have a choice of uploading from my computer, pulling up from Drive, even connecting up with my Google Photos album. Okay, so that would make it very easy to attach a picture. Also, it has a URL or a website address, or I could even click there and take a picture with the camera that's built into my computer. But let's go ahead and let's say search the web, and it's actually going to pull up Google Images on the right side, and let's say sunflower. Whoop. We get a whole bunch of different options, don't we? Now, I actually think it's not the first one there. Some pretty sunflowers, aren't they? Let's do this one. This one looks kind of different. All right, so we click the picture we want, and then we click Insert because it allows us to choose more than one if we want to. And then boom, there's our sunflower. Now, just like another program, if I left click on the picture, we'll actually get the little squares. The best place to be is on the corners, and if I left click hold when my arrow changes, I can actually resize the picture, and then boom, now it's a little bit smaller so it fits. Now remember, it's continuously saving, so I don't have to even click save because it just does it all the time. Okay, so that's just a little bit of a brief overview of our little project here. We do have a few other options, of course. We can actually go up here and center where it says flower poem. You can add comments, insert images. Line spacing is here, numbering, indentation is here as well. And also we can do a few things like we can crop the picture, we can give it a border. So it has a, a shape, I guess you could say. You can also crop it and some other image options like size and rotate, and you can actually recolor in a way as well if you wanted to. So it has a few built-in things, and I'll just do undo. So let's talk about our add-ons, okay? This is kind of the fun things that we have going on. Yeah, it just goes to, yeah. Let's talk about our add-on, okay? So if we go up here to add-on, this is one of the benefits of using something like this, because not only can you make it have, and I'm going to talk about sharing stuff later, but yeah, we will talk about the share button up here on the top right. But if I click add-ons, and let's say get add-ons, you'll understand pretty quickly why this is a big benefit. So they have stuff on here, easy bibliography. There's something about music notation. So what are these? These are like extra little programs that you can, of course, do the add-on. And while you're typing, and I'll actually show the word art one. This is the one that we actually currently have installed. So if you give it a bunch of words, it'll actually make like a little word art with those. Some people have a favorite. Want to do Avery labels. There's Avery labels right there. Okay. Has things like mail merger, rubrics, highlighting tool, add-on, allows Google Translate to work a little bit better. See Google Docs, Google Tools, help you do an easy table of content. So a lot of these are programs that people made, company made to try to help out, make it work. It's just an addition to what you're already doing. Okay. May benefit greatly, may not really find any that you're interested in. It just depends on what project you're working on. Okay. But there's a lot on here. And just kind of help you get started. Okay. Okay, so all you do is click it and it'll pop up and say, do you want to install it? And let's say you want to do something like, let's see if we can make, I think I have to copy it, I'm not sure. Our add-on, we'll do our word cloud. Well, are you going to get me? Okay. I guess because I don't have a bunch of words on here, that's really all it's going to do. But if I had more words, like a paragraph, it would actually do some kind of fancy, word cloud thing. Okay, so that's just kind of a brief overview of using Google Docs. Of course, I've answered most questions I get asked about this is, does it work well with Word? I go, absolutely it does. How much does it cost? And I go, well, you get 15 gigs for free, which is plenty for most people using, just creating documents, okay? And also, it's not, your videos and Google Photos and videos are not taking up space in your Google Docs or Google Drive, okay? All right, so let's go ahead and let's move on. Let's talk about our Google Sheets, okay? Google Sheets, what is Google Sheets? Well, Google Sheets is basically Excel, okay? So most of the things you can do in Excel, you can do here in Google Sheets. One good benefit, again, is talking about our add-ons. So it does allow you to have more functionality than maybe Excel because there's some other add-ons that you can apply as well. So analyze data with charts and filters, handle task lists, create project plans, and much more. All changes are saved automatically. Customize your spreadsheet and data. You can, of course, we're going to talk about the same things here. Look as we're in the Word, in the Google Docs. Changing the title of it, copy paste, undo, redo, formatting and everything, but also it talks about our different rows and columns. So one big thing to know is that we do have an Excel that it's its own class, okay? I'm about to create just a simple little budget that people ask about because I just want to make a simple budget. I want to say this much money coming in, subtract some stuff from it, and then it gives me the answer at the end. Okay, sure. So we can do that, and I'm going to show you how to do that just very quickly. Also, do realize that Excel, the little cells, even with Google Sheets, it has the little cells. With the little cells, they have their own properties, so you may need to go in there and tell if it's general or money or anything like that. Okay. Also, being able to add rows, expand a row, expand a column, insert, and it also has the freeze handle, freeze a header, freeze a row. So if you're reading something really, really long and you need the first header, if this was Excel, you'd say like the first row, the first column to freeze, so you can scroll and see the rest of the document so it matches all up like that. Very easy to read. You can do that here. With Google Sheets, everyone can work together in the same spreadsheet at the same time. We'll talk about sharing on all the programs here near the end. Use formulas, functions, and formatting options to save time and simplify common spreadsheet tasks. take the Getting Started with Google Sheets course on Coursera. Simple budget, basic formatting. So let's talk a little bit about creating a simple budget. Okay, I have this here. I put this with the Excel class. Okay, basic formats, formulas, mathematical equations in Excel. So sum means addition. Okay, so most of the time we would do a 2 plus 4 equals. Excel equals 2 plus 4 is actually the way that we do it in Excel and in Sheets too. So let me pull it up. So we don't need this anymore. So we're actually just going to close this and go back to Google Drive. Now I'm going to hit New, and I'll say Google Sheets. Now again, today's the 7th, so let's call it Class October 7th, 2020. Okay. So here's Excel. Big things that I'll get asked a lot, and like I said, this is Sheets, excuse me. So this is a spreadsheet program is what I should be calling it, something a little bit more general. So you can learn things here and use them in Excel and vice versa. So even if you're using this, if you try to take one of the Excel classes that I teach, you'll be able to use everything that I won't say everything, I use most of the things back and forth. Of course, our big one is how do I change the cell size. I just go in between the 1 and the 2 and I drag, and it'll that way. And if I get between the A and the B, I can drag it that way too. Okay, so this allows you to change any of the columns and any of the rows height or width, at any time. Okay. All right, so if we did a quick equation, so if we go here, like I said, we have our example of 2 plus 4, but in Excel we do equals 2 plus 4. The big thing is once we actually do an equation, it'll actually give us the answer. It won't show the problem anymore. But then if we click on the cell at the top, it'll show it in the formula bar. So I'm going to hit enter. It's going to say 6. But if I say, hey, I want to change that math, I go back, I click the cell, and then I can see the math in what they call the formula bar up here. Okay. Now here's kind of our learning curve. Even this program won't really explain this to you very easily. There is a button that's called an Autosum button. Okay, so addition is the plus sign or sum. Okay, subtraction is our minus sign. And we don't really have a division symbol on our keyboard, so to divide something is a /. Now here's one that gets a lot of folks. They're trying to multiply something. They throw an X in there. Will not work. You have to put a star in there. Okay. So there you go right there. Star is above the 8. So you have to do Shift 8 to do that. So here's our example 2. Because subtraction is already using the dash symbol, subtraction dash hyphen symbol, we can't use it again because that could be confusing. So what we actually have going on is instead of the dash, okay, we actually have a colon instead. Okay, so if we write in here, and the big benefit is not actually doing math, but actually making it do math to the cell versus the other cell. Okay, so if we need to make changes later, we can. Okay, so A8 cell plus B8 cell plus C8 cell. Okay, And once we type that in, it'll actually convert it, and it should look something like this. A8 colon C8. And you're like, why is that? Well, it's adding them together, and they're in the parentheses, so that means that it's the sum. You see they're in the parentheses, so that means that they're going to be done first. That's a really big important part here. Anything that's in a parentheses should be done first. When using mixed calculations, remember to put what you want calculated first in the parentheses, and the order of operation needs to be addition, and subtraction needs to be done first before multiplication and division. Okay? So let's go ahead and, let's create a simple monthly budget. Okay? So let's add to our name here. Okay, so we're at the top. We type in monthly. Whoop. That's funny. That's my, I don't know how to turn that on. That's the camera for when I do the Raspberry Pi projects. That's kind of neat. Let me zoom in on this a little bit. That's the add. Where's my zoom? There it is. There we go. Okay, so let's type in we have our monthly budget. Oh, there it is. So monthly budget, the first thing we have to focus on is doing our money in, and typing in our numbers properly. So our first one is money in, and it says 3,000. Now I want it to be dollar signs. So the big thing here is I need to change this cell from it just being general to actual money. So I'm just going to go up here and click the dollar sign. And now the format of this cell is when I type in any numbers. So I just type in 3,000, and when I hit enter, it'll change it automatically to dollar signs. Okay. So that's very important to do when you're dealing with money. So food was 1,200. And I need to do dollar 1,200. And we have fun is 550. Gas was 600. All right, now what we want it to do is we want to take 3,000 and subtract the other cells. So we actually want the B2 cell, and we want to subtract the B3, B4, and B5 cell. Okay? Now, if we handwrite this out like this, Okay. It may change it to compress it a little bit, but that's actually going to work in our favor because it'll make it a little bit of a shorthand. Now, a big misnomer, and I'll have in class people go, well, I put where it said I wanted to say total. The total doesn't matter where the word total is. That's just for us. So just by putting the word total there doesn't mean it's going to work right. So on the B, we got to make sure we turn it to money. On the B6, what we want to type in the B6 cell is equals B2, which is, and it's going to give us a color coordinated answer. Okay, the B2. And remember, we need it to do addition first is what we want it to do. Okay, so we want it to add B3, B4, and B5 all together and then subtract B2. So that's why B2 is outside the parentheses. Okay. All right, so equals B2 minus, we want it to add the B3 plus B4 plus B5 and then close parentheses. Okay. And all we have to do is hit enter. Boom. There we go. Now again, if we want to go back and see the formula, or excuse me, or the math problem, we click on the cell and we'll see it up here in the left in case something's wrong. Why do this? Why is this such a big deal? Why would you spend time doing this instead of having it just on a sheet of paper or typing it out with the math on there instead of it telling it the cells? Well, the big benefit is you can actually come back and say, oh no, I didn't earn $3,000. I earned $3,200. Yay, we're going to make it positive. Okay. So if I click there and instead of 3,000, I do 200, you'll see that all our math will automatically work its way out. Boom, there you go. And I didn't have to do anything. Okay. That's why you want to spend a little bit of time with the sheets or the spreadsheet program. So if you do come back and you go, oh no, I was wrong. I spent that $200 on something else. So make a change and then boom, it makes a change all the way back. And I go, okay, well, great news. I didn't spend $1,200 on food last month. I only spent $1,000. So watch this. Boom, there you go. It does the math for us. So it's basically making my own template. Once you spend time to do this once, you could actually go in and create new sheets by clicking down here saying add a sheet. Where's the thing on there? You can make a duplicate, make changes to the numbers, and then it could be a template that you use each month. Okay. So once you get a template the way that you like it, you can reuse it. Just go in here and erase, maybe the numbers on here. Okay. And then you're all good to go. All right, let's talk about Google Slides, and then we'll jump into, I did want to show the add-ons. Excuse me, I did want to show the add-ons here. So if I do add-ons, say get add-ons, you'll see again it adds a lot more functionality. This is very specific to, of course, doing spreadsheets. Okay. Something with diagrams. Mail mergers on here. Whole bunch of stuff. Makes it work with other programs. So if like at your work uses certain things, here's smart diagrams. Some kind of classroom share program. Here it has some more templates and stuff, and there's our word art generator. As you see, it gives a whole lot more functionality. Click those and download them. Now, something else I was going to talk about. We'll talk about sharing our documents in just a minute. I don't know. That was pretty much it. You have to come to the Excel class to kind of cover spreadsheets more in depth. Okay. Probably think about what I want to show you in just a second in my mind. All right, so let's go ahead and let's talk about Google Slides. Okay. So Google Slides is Google's PowerPoint program. Okay. And yes, you can create a PowerPoint program here, you know, a slideshow, and you can actually download it, and if you needed to, you could put it on a flash drive and then give it to somebody and they could put it in a I would say 2010 and newer, and probably not have any real problems with the different format in any way. I won't say that 100%, but I'll say, you know, just anything like that that's a PowerPoint presentation, always test it out. I've done a few where some slide that I thought was fixed, and for some reason it didn't work, and then when I actually got and plugged it into my presentation computer, because I had to use a different computer for some reason, and I've even had it where I brought my own laptop to plug in because I knew that it worked on my computer, but it may not work on one of the other ones for whatever reasons. So practice is a good thing to go ahead and test out your equipment, test out your stuff before you do a presentation. Okay. So our PowerPoint class, I kind of go a little bit more into not just creating, but also trying to make your PowerPoints more interesting. The big thing is on the left side, we actually have our slide organizer. This is where you create new slides. We move our slides around. We also create duplicate slides, and we can delete slides we don't need. So this is kind of our main window. So let's go ahead and create a simple presentation. We're going to do one called the moon. And we're going to do one called the moon is. And if we have time, I'll show you the animation part that you can use as well. So that's already been saved. I'm going to hit X to close it. And then let's click new. Hang on. Click new. And then I'm going to say slides. I believe it's just called the moon. The moon. I like giving a little more detail to my file name, so it makes it a little bit easier to find later. So this is basically PowerPoint. Okay, some features are a little bit different than PowerPoint, but let's go ahead and let's delve right into it. Okay, so our main one is we want to have a slide that's our title slide, and we'll call it the moon by Alex, and we're actually going to play around with our different templates here. So it will look a little bit different. Let's say the moon. Now at any point, anytime you see anything like this, then our text box appears, which is a little bit different than with our Word or Excel. We can actually move our text boxes around if we want to. And we can actually add new text boxes as well. Now, on the right side, it's already showing me some theme suggestions. Okay, if this isn't on, then you can go up to, where was the button? Anyway, it was up here somewhere. I close it. Oh, where is it? We need someone to write a theme. Well, where is it? Format. Well, oh, maybe because I have some select. Oh, that was it. Okay. Because I had this selected, it was only showing me the text stuff. Okay. So if you go up here and you click theme, then this will be here. If it's not there, you can click there up at the top where it says theme. Okay. You can insert pictures. You can change, move the text around. You can also insert new text boxes if that's what you want. If you need another text box. Okay. To add more text to a document. I will tell you that if you're trying to do something that includes a video in your PowerPoint instead of it being like a separate file that you exit and play, just make sure that you practice. Make sure that you're using the same computer that you practice on, or if you are taking a presentation like on a flash drive or something, or trying to open it up on someone else's computer, just make sure you give yourself plenty of time to practice and make sure it works. Okay, I've done presentations where I thought where we were going would have great internet, and then come to find out one of the videos I was going to show basically straight off of YouTube, because it was embedded in my PowerPoint, did not load properly. So in the future, I just would either have the file ready to be able to just click out and then click it to play. So just make sure that you practice whatever presentation you're going to do to make sure everything involved in it works. Okay. So here's some of our themes here on the right side. Since we have some text here, we can go ahead and click a few of these, and it'll give us a bit of a preview. Depending on what our slide is how our theme's going to look at, or treat, I should say, our slide with the different layouts. So if I go up here to layout, you'll actually see the theme we've chosen. These are the different layouts. So our next slide that we actually want to create, and it's going to make it look a little bit different than this. And I'm actually going to cheat a little so I don't have to retype all that. The moon is, and I'll show you how to do the switch into the next slide here in just a second. So the moon is, okay. So once we go to we want to create a new slide. Okay. Want to create a new slide. We do, let's see, do I click here? Where does it say? Let's add a comment. This slide, yeah. New slide. Now I actually have two options. If I choose just the default, it'll probably be the title and content one. If I click the drop down, it'll now, because I already have a theme chosen, it'll actually show me which one it will be. Okay, so I actually want the title and content is what I want. I guess they call it title and body. Okay. So I'm going to go back to the normal so it kind of shows it. There we go. There's our title. I'm just to paste. Okay, hold on. And I'm actually going to move Yeah, it's up at the top. When I click away, it takes it a second to come back. There we go. Because I flipped screens. Okay, I have to do the cut paste. Okay, so we have the moon is. Now, depending on which theme we choose, it'll look a little different, which we learned about that, didn't we? Now, this is where someone will say, I had to fight with the template to get it to look the way I wanted to. Well, if you actually choose a different layout, trying to get something really different, I guess that would be the one that we were looking at. So let's say I get here and I go, I don't like that. I like this, but I don't like that. Well, let's go up here to layout, and it actually will give us a preview of what the other ones will be like. So let's see if there's one that's similar. I guess that means that, okay. But it all depends on depending on which layout you choose is what the template will treat, that slide, okay? So I think we need to choose a different theme. Now in Word, the themes, and I know a lot of people may know this, you can actually change the color of the theme, but in here it doesn't really let you do that. The biggest thing is that it does show the preview of the theme, and of course we won't go into it, but the transitions and all that, because we're going to talk about sharing in just a second here. Now, at any point, you say, hey, I want it to have, and of course, you know, most of the other rules, you know, I can change certain things. I think it's interesting, gave it 3 dots. So if I choose a different layout, what are the different layouts on this slide? I'll go along with that. Okay, so at any point you can actually change your background. You can choose a different image, okay? So if I actually make it not just a picture, but the actual background, that is now an official background, and then I can have my own text and stuff. Another thing you can do is you can actually make the text boxes light in some way, or transparent. Okay, so that's a full change, full background, but let's say I don't like that. I'm going to do undo. So once you change the background, do realize it's almost like having your own template. So I'm going to do the same picture again, I think. I'm not sure what that means. Add to theme. There we go. Where is my... It's that box I created earlier. Stop. Looks kind of different, doesn't it? Okay, so now let's actually insert just a normal picture. So if I go up here to insert, it'll say upload from the computer, search the web, and Google Drive, and of course our other options we have here. Let's do search. I'm going to say moon. And I think the one we used before was just kind of a simple picture. And I'm actually going to put it here on the right side. That's what I'm going to do. And I'm actually going to give it a little bit of a border, just so it kind of hangs out. So there is our slide. Not too different than our example. Okay. So we go from, there's a little delay clicking it, the moon. So again, choose a picture, and I could make this the entire template here as my background, or you could actually make the background, let's say if I add a background, I can actually choose a transparency for it. Can I do that if it's a picture? You see, reset to theme, add to theme. So if I do that, I think it's actually going to make, what if I made it transparent? Let's see. I will tell you, I usually have it that, oh, that's a neat one. Okay, I actually like that. In PowerPoint, I actually can make the background image more transparent. It kind of conflicts. Maybe if I move this over here. I have to think about that one. I think that's a little bit too much, but anyway, for our example, we could still mess around with that a little bit. Okay, so you can still do adding pictures. It does do the transitions going from one to another. And I know we're running close on time here, but I won't go into too much detail here, and I'm going to start talking about some of the other stuff. So here's the add-ons that you can get. Some of them may seem like the same thing. Save slides as GIF files and video files. Really? That's cool. Okay. I guess with this would be if you're doing an example of coding, photo slides, all kinds of different things depending on what specific project you're working on. Here's Adobe, connects it up with Adobe stock photos. Don't know if that costs in any way. But pretty cool. All the stuff already made up. Star Wars slides, okay. Free images. So no, there's more free images. There you go. Okay, so to view our PowerPoint, you do slide. Excuse me, where is the, hold on. There it is, there's a presenter. There you go. The Moon by Alex. Oh, and there you go right there. Okay, so that's just a little bit of overview. Now let's go ahead and let's talk about our share. Okay. So big thing is, let's say that you're part of a team or a project and you do need to make a PowerPoint. Maybe you're working on a budget or something, maybe like a fall festival or something. Well, you could email back and forth, okay? Or you could actually create a document that you could share over everybody, for everybody, okay? It would actually include showing where people edited, Okay, this is more of a long term, but this could be a short term project too. You can actually set up the user accounts when we click share, who can edit what, add them to the list there. Of course, they need to have a it depends on certain things they do. They may or may not need to have a Google account. It will be a lot easier if they have a Gmail account, especially if you're doing this with a business or something. As you can see, you can actually collaborate and choose who does what. So clicking the share button, share document, and choose what collaborators can do. They'll also receive an email notification as well. So they can share it. Some of them can make comments on there. Other ones can suggest edits, okay? But they can all view it, okay? Now, the collaboration, real time, and you can actually go back in the history as well, which is a really, really big one, okay? So we have our, share and organize files. You can share files or folders so other people can view, edit, or comment on them. Share files from Google Drive, share folders from Google Drive, make someone else the owner of a file. To see files that other people have shared, you go to Share with Me section, and I've got some neat little videos I'm going to show that kind of jump into explaining this a little bit better, I guess you could say, and very quickly as well, because I'm currently not sharing with anyone really any documents. So this will give the ability to be able to view.
We're glad you joined Drive. Here's how you and your team can get started. Drives are spaces where your files live in the cloud. My Drive is your personal space for files and folders that you own. Shared drives are for files and folders your team is collaborating on. Both My Drive and shared drives can be accessed from the web, on mobile, or directly from your desktop using the Drive desktop app, which works just like a regular desktop folder. Changes you make here are always synced across your devices and in the cloud. Use the New button to upload files, create folders, or create new content with Google Docs, Sheets, or Slides. Drive supports over 100 different file formats and works seamlessly with Microsoft Office, so you can comment, assign tasks, and even edit Microsoft files right from Drive. When you work in a Docs, Sheets, or Slides file, you're able to collaborate side by side with your team in real time. And version control is automatic for every file. You can see past changes and even restore a previous version by going into a file's version history. When you're ready to share your work, just click the Share button at the top of any document, or right-click on any file or folder in Drive. You can invite people individually and choose their permission level, or you can turn on link sharing so that anyone with the link can view or comment on the file. That's it. Happy collaborating.
Just kind of quick, simple explanation, walking through, shows kind of the benefits as well. So let's go ahead and let me show you the other little video I got. And then we'll kind of wrap up class.
Drive has two different spaces for files, depending on who owns them. My Drive is for your personal files that you own, and these can be shared individually or via link sharing. Shared drives are for files and folders your team is collaborating on and accessing often. These files are owned at the team level, and every member of the shared drive has automatic access, even if someone leaves the team. My Drive and shared drives give you the flexibility to control where files live based on your needs.
Kind of quick. All right, so let's look at our last little video.
With Drive, your entire team is literally on the same page, and version control isn't a problem because every file has a rich version history. Granular changes are recorded and color-coded by person, so it's easy to see who made what changes and when. The drop-down lets you see even minute-by-minute versions of the file, and you can always copy content from an older version over into the current one, or just restore a version exactly the way it was. Using version history in Drive, you can work in the same document and create a single source of truth for your team.
I know that's a quick one, but it very quickly shows how you can go back at any time and make changes. So if you do share, it'll pop up, give out a name, put the person's name here, and then you can actually see what they can do and how you can restrict them as well. You can just allow them to view. You can allow them to be a commenter or an editor as well. Or you could actually have it a link to anybody and allow them to just view it, okay? Which is what I did with the files that I did shared in the in our chat, I guess you could say. Now there's other resources as well. So if you go to support.google.com/docs, there's a lot of information here about the specifics of, let's say, document, Google Docs, and it has lots of information, okay? Inserting items, publishing, formatting, spell checking, and they're really easy to use. Like I'll just click here. You'll see it'll walk us through creating a document, editing a document, sharing and working with others. Sheets, the slides, and also switching from documents to Word, using Google Drive and other apps. So this actually answers a lot. It's really good. This also talks about accessibility as well. So let's say Sheets. And they have a full little course that you can take from them about the Google Cloud as well, okay? So if you want to go beyond what we're doing or basically covering here, this has weeks and weeks of information, except for it being specific about what you're trying to learn. I probably would just play around in here and then work on your project, and maybe even just do a Google search if it's something more specific that you're looking for, okay? But if you do want to delve more into some other classes, there you go. You do actually have that option, okay? And in our library resources class, we actually do cover how you can take a lot of online classes and receive a certificate when completing those classes as well, something you can put on your resume, okay? Now let's talk about our templates, okay? So our templates are very easy to pull up, okay? And if I go back to, I go and I click Google Docs, it'll actually show from a template. And I'm going to do general. So the general ones are pretty fun. There's essay, there's reports, okay? There's also ones that are already set up as APA format, which is very important. Just a little side note, if you are ever dealing with MLA or APA format and it's for a school, the easiest thing to do is either ask the teacher, college professor, or even there's usually a help place that you can go and get more information. But usually they already have a template. Easiest thing to do is don't create the wheel every time. Somewhere in the classroom, somewhere at the university or whatever, there's a template that you can download. Just start your document there. It will already be in the right format. Something like this. It'll already be in the right format. All you do is you fill it in, and then boom, you'll have it. Okay. So don't try to reinvent the wheel. Find you a template and start from there. Okay. Lessons plans, book reports. As we scroll down here, it'll have letters. Resumes is a big one I get asked. Someone goes, well, I'm not sure how to start my own resume. And I go, well, get you a template. Now, the template may not be exactly what you want, but the template will at least show, so if I click this template here, this may not be my perfect template. Some things may not let you move them around, but this is a great place to start. You start filling out this information, you'll go, oh, well, I want to change this one, change that. So if you do create your own document, that'll be completely blank. You already kind of know the information or how to organize it or give you some good ideas, okay? Okay, so a template may not be your end-all be-all, but it can be a good place to start, okay? So let's go back and let's see. Projects. Oh, another thing is a template is excellent for if you're ever dealing with someone and they say, hey, I'm glad you cut my grass, but to pay you, I actually need an invoice. Template invoices are very easy to find, and I believe there's some here, and I'll actually I think I can do a search. They don't have as many templates as there are in Word. In Word, I can just do a search and say, let's say invoice, and it'll pop right up, okay? But here's letters, business letters, get you started. The resumes, of course, the big one. Here's a neat one about recipe. That's pretty neat. And dog information, okay? Project proposal, meeting notes, brochures, newsletters, training proposal. It does require you to have some add-on installed. I guess it's for a specific thing. Essays that we have, reports, all that kind of good stuff. Book reports, class notes, lesson plans. So hopefully that'll kind of get you started and give you some good ideas, okay? So let's talk about what we've covered. We've covered a lot, haven't we? We covered what is Google Drive and Google Docs. We talked about the Google Docs editor. We were introduced to the Microsoft Office files, trying to upload the Office files and open them there. Save as awesome. Oh no, excuse me, as Office files. We actually have our. This is when my mouse disappears for some reason. I've had that happen for some reason. Talked about Google Drive, Google Docs. We also talked about we created a simple document in Google Docs. We created a simple budget in Google Sheets. That's usually what people want to say. Big number, subtract little number. How do I get this to work? How do I get times tables to work, to multiplication, and also division, addition, and subtraction. And I got that sheet there. That would be a great guide for you. Keep it as a good cheat sheet. Google Slides we talked about. We created a simple presentation. We also talked about sharing our files with teams. Hopefully you can see the big benefit. It may be a small little hurdle to do to begin with, but being able to share one document, everybody editing that one document can be a big help, and at keeping a record of who changed what, when, and if you do need to go back in time, it makes it very easy. We also did talk about other services and. All right, so we covered a lot, didn't we? I think we did. So let's talk about the class that we're going to have this afternoon. So this afternoon's class is going to be Email 101 Personal and Business Basics. And tomorrow is the 8th, so at 11 o'clock we're going to be doing Google School. And then at 2:30, let's build a website with WordPress. Okay? Hope you'll come join me for that. and also our fun Halloween projects that we have set up for the whole month. It's going to be fun, okay? I'm excited about that. Doing some new classes or doing some updates, and also we're going to be doing a Unity class for beginners. Unity is for video game creation, but you could do other stuff. We're going to make a 3D robot game. Come join me for that. It's going to be a lot of fun. Our libraries are open with limited services and hours. Curbside holds pickup is available. You can go to gchrl.org for details. Call the library with questions Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Don't forget to like us on Facebook and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Please hit subscribe to help us. We're trying to get 100 subscribers on our YouTube channel, and we'll get our own name on our address. Our own YouTube address is what we're going to get. And if you can't find us, search YouTube for GCHRL videos, and please share with friends or family and like our videos too. That's a really big help. Remember to ask questions in our live chat and to subscribe and to like. You do need to be logged into your YouTube account. So that kind of does it for me this morning. Thank you so much for dropping by. It looks like it's going to be a beautiful fall day. So enjoy the weather. I'll see you this afternoon. Grab you some lunch. Have a great afternoon, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.